Welcome to the MediSoul podcast. My name is Holly Janes, and I am the founder of MediSoul Wellness. And this podcast is a space where we can explore spirituality, meditation, the paranormal, and everything in between. If you want to learn more about MediSoul Wellness, which is my school where I teach you how to do these very topics, go to MediSoulWellness.com. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the dark side of psychic ability. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with psychic abilities, and everybody loves the idea of being psychic, but there's a dark side to it. So we're going to talk about not knowing that you're psychic, when psychic abilities feel like a curse, demonic dreams, or having nightmares, psychic ability versus mental illness, why being protected is so important, and more. If this is something that you enjoy and you love these topics, please hit the subscribe or follow button and let's get right to it. So, everybody wants to be psychic. At least the spiritual people do. They think that being psychic is the best thing ever, and if you've never had paranormal or spiritual experiences, then you want it. But there's a dark side to this. As someone who has experienced this myself many times, I can assure you that not all of psychic ability is fluffy and fun. There's a lot of dark things out there, and that can be enticing but scary, especially when you don't know what's happening. So one of the things that happens with a lot of people, especially psychic people, is they don't know they're psychic. I've talked to quite a few people, and a lot of them they assume that maybe there's something wrong with them, they think weird, or there's just something not right with their head. So they go to a doctor, they talk to somebody because they think, well, I'm seeing things, I'm hearing things, I know things, so I must have some kind of a disorder or something like that, when in reality, no, you are open psychically. Now, first off, I've already said in a different episode that everybody is psychic, and that's true. Everybody is psychic, but everybody is psychic to different degrees. For example, all of us could sit down in front of a piano and bang on a piano and make noise. But some of us could learn how to play the piano and be okay. And some of us are going to turn into the Beethovens and Mozarts of the world. It's just, you're like a savant in that particular field. And there are people out there who are very good psychics. And there's a lot of people out there who are psychic. Pretty much everybody is psychic. Everybody has had something happen to them. Even the person that says, nothing has ever happened to me, chances are very good something did happen to them and they just blew it off as coincidence. It's this, it's that, it's whatever. Every single person on this planet is psychic, but some of you are really good at it. Some of you who are really good at it, you know that you're really good at it. But how did that happen? Were you just born and you came into this world and you were like, hey, I'm really good at psychic ability, and you just knew everything there was to do? No, you made a lot of mistakes. You saw a lot of scary things. You dealt with a lot of scary things. You had to learn, and that's what happens. If you don't know that you're psychic, first off, you are. Are you the Mozart of psychics or not? I don't know. But how do we tell? How do we tell how good of a psychic you are? Well, first things first. How many paranormal experiences have you had? If you are someone that spent your whole life, you went to one location, you saw a ghost, and that was the end of it. Okay, yep, you saw the ghost. That's a psychic encounter. That's super cool. But did you spend your whole life with that? Yes or no? And if you're thinking, well, no. Okay, well, you're psychic enough that you saw the ghost. But if you're sitting there and you're going, one ghost? How about all the ghosts that I've seen, or the UFOs that I have seen, or the shadow people that I have seen, or the weird things that I have dreamt about, the weird marks that I wake up with. Like, if you're sitting there and you're going, I had this experience and this and this and this and this and that, then chances are very good you are psychic. But a lot of people don't know what that feels like or what it looks like or what it seems like, because psychic people think that it's just seeing dead people all the time. And it's not. That's clairvoyant. And that's cool. Seeing dead people is definitely a psychic gift, but it's not the only psychic gift. And then you have people that can hear the dead people. Now, you could hear them with your ears, but that's not as common as hearing them telepathically in your head. I already talked about this when I got into some of the clairs in a past show, where you're clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. Maybe you feel it. Maybe you just know things that you shouldn't know. These are all psychic abilities. And the more you have, like the more experiences you have, chances are pretty good that you're psychic. I've talked to quite a few people over the years who have told me, I don't know if I'm dealing with a mental disorder or I'm dealing with something psychic. I went to school for psychology and mental health. And I went to the DSM-5 and I read the criteria to be labeled as a schizophrenic. And I'm reading all of the things. Now, the way it works is you have to get like 7 out of 9 of the things on the list or something like that. And that determines that you're schizophrenic. So I'm reading them going, I've had this happen. I've had that happen. To myself, I've listed everything that they said. I list seeing things, hearing things, knowing things, sensing things. That's my whole life. So I understand why it's difficult to determine, are you psychic or are you having a mental issue? There is a very big difference. I've met people, because I worked in the psychology field. I've worked with clients who had schizophrenia, delusions. They were disconnected from society and disconnected from reality. But I've also talked to people who, well, they were seeing things and hearing things, but they didn't seem to be as disconnected. There's a lot more other kinds of symptoms that go along with a mental disorder besides just seeing and hearing and knowing things. You know, there's the verbal, there's the behaviors, there's, the sleeping issues, sometimes over-medicating. There's a lot of things that go on with mental health. And if you think you have a mental health issue, you need to go to a counselor or a doctor or somebody that, you got to go to a professional. You need to do that, because you need to figure out, are you dealing with something medical? But if you do think that there's a spiritual side, or you believe in this stuff, or you're not sure, there are a lot of counselors out there that believe in the paranormal. There's a lot of them that believe in the spiritual. They can't tell you that. But you absolutely can shop around when you're looking for a counselor to find someone who believes in what you believe in. So that way you can have more of a conversation and they're not immediately labeling you with a mental disorder if you don't have one. I've worked with clients in the past who were determining, am I having a mental issue or a psychic issue? And that's when I would connect with their energy and be like, listen, I'm pretty sure you're psychic. And not everybody's like that. So you need to determine, first off, go get the mental health stuff taken care of. If you think you have a mental health issue, go get it looked at. At least do that. But if you are psychic, then you're going to be having a lot of paranormal experiences. Some of the things that these experiences happen is you're going to see things. You might see a lot of ghosts. You might see things in your head. You might get premonitions of things or see things in the past. Like maybe you go into a building and all of a sudden you're getting the sense that there used to be a bar there and there was this person who worked there that died. Okay, you're seeing this movie in your head and you think, well, maybe I'm just making it up. But chances are that you're not. Being able to hear things in your head telepathically, that's hard because you can kind of look at your own inner voice. but you're going to get these messages, this download of information and knowing things. Maybe you touch the place and you just get a sense of what has happened there. But when you have psychic ability and you don't know it, all of this is going on simultaneously, and you feel crazy. And you feel crazy because you're not protected. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to control your psychic ability. So you've got everything in the universe coming at you. You're dealing with probably demonic things. You're dealing with aliens coming at you. You got ghosts coming at you. You've got your spirit guides trying to talk to you. Plus, you're picking up the energy and the emotion of absolutely everyone around you. And it can make life really difficult. Being psychic can be super cool when it's in control. When it's out of control, that's when you get demonic stuff, nightmares, you get overwhelmed, anxiety, panic attack, like going into a public place where there is a bunch of people and you go there and you just all of a sudden you feel nauseous, you feel sick, you got a headache, a migraine, you feel like you're suffocating, you're getting claustrophobia, you can't breathe, you're getting all of these emotions all at once, or maybe you're getting all these thoughts in your head, because this used to happen to me. I would go to public places and I would hear in my head these thoughts that were not mine, but they sounded like mine, but they were nonstop. It was like, I shouldn't have worn that. Why did I wear that? Why did I come here? I shouldn't have come here today. This person doesn't like me. Why is he being mean to me? I should have said this. Why didn't I do that? Just this never ending constant noise that was in my head, followed by all of the emotions that come along with that. If somebody's mad, I'm mad. Somebody's sad, I'm sad. Somebody's angry and sad and grieving, I feel that too. It's like you just sit there going, oh my God, I can't function. I don't know what's my own. On top of that, you're picking up the energy of the environment, which would happen to me because I would go to places, especially when you go to places like bars, you're dealing with not only every person that's in the bar at that moment, but every person who's ever been in that bar, including the dead. So if there's ghosts there, you're picking that up at the same time as hearing all these voices in your head. You want to know how weird it was for me one time? And this is how weird psychic ability can get. There was a day when I heard trees talking, and it sounded like singing, like a buzzing kind of singing. And they were talking to each other, and I knew what they were saying, and it took a minute to figure it out. And after about the second hour, I kind of thought, oh my God, how am I ever going to live if I can't turn off the fact that these plants are talking? How am I ever going to eat a vegetable again? So I was sitting there like, please shut up, please shut up, please shut up. And if you've ever been to a place that was haunted and you're hearing like murmurs, background noise, like there's a bunch of people talking in the background, but you can't make it out. I did that one time when I went to the Titanic Museum in Branson, Missouri. First off, my past life, my last past life was on the Titanic. It didn't go well for me. But when I went to Branson, Missouri, which I had never heard of, I just was like, ooh, what's that? And I drove over there. I saw that there was the Titanic Museum, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to go in there because I'm obsessed with the Titanic. So I went in there, and as soon as I got in there, it was like the very beginning was all about how they built the boat. But then when we opened the doors that got to the dining hall, because the whole museum looked like the boat, immediately I could hear people talking. Like you're in a room with a bunch of people, and it's just a bunch of people talking, and I'm just standing there like, do you hear that? And the people I was with, one heard it, the other one's like, no, I don't hear anything. So I was just like, wow, this is a lot. And let's talk about how psychic ability can get overwhelming. Okay, yep, walking into the dining hall at that Titanic Museum and hearing people talking, that's cool. And it's cool. You're not hearing anything. It's not really affecting me. It's not really doing anything. Well, this is the Titanic, and it's the Titanic Museum. So some of the artifacts that were in there were from the Titanic. So they say. I'm assuming that they were. So that holds residual energy anyway. But as we're going through this. And now, mind you, there's no tour guide. They just give you this little microphone thing or a speaker that talks as you go along. When we got to the point where the ship was sinking, this is where it got out of control. And at this point in my life, this was quite a few years ago, I hadn't fully developed how to control these abilities yet. And so I go to that section and it was weird. It was like I knew I was in the Titanic Museum, but almost visually, I was on the Titanic. I saw the deck. I saw that it was nighttime. And all I heard was just people just screaming, crying, yelling, water, the music in the background. I heard that. And that was fine. It was pure chaos. And it wasn't fun, don't get me wrong, but it was this one woman who was wearing this dress, and it looked dark green, and she looked like maybe an upper class. She could have been middle class. I honestly don't know. But she was on the floor kind of reaching up at me and saying, please, please, I need you to help me. Help me, help me. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, I can't help you. I can't help you. What am I supposed to do? And she's just begging and crying and everybody's upset. And at that point, I kind of snapped out of it a little bit and I looked at the other person I was with who was also dealing with this, with their hands on their ears going, I got to get out of here. I can't be in here. Get me out of here. I can't do this. I can't do this. Get me out. We had to leave. I love the Titanic. I mean, just in a past life kind of way. But I couldn't stay. It was overwhelming. And that is what can happen on a psychic level, especially when you don't know how to stop it or how to protect yourself. And at that point in my life, I didn't know how to protect myself or stop it. I was still learning. I was making a lot of mistakes. So sometimes psychic ability can come at you and you're feeling it, sensing it, seeing it, hearing it, knowing it. Like you're in it. You're in whatever the trauma was. And it's difficult. It's very difficult. And you have to learn how to control those things. Because the other thing that psychic ability can do is it can make your dreams terrible. You can have nightmares. You can have things chasing you in your nightmares. You can have things attacking you, things coming at you. You can feel like you can't move, sleep paralysis. You can have just these horrible feelings, people dying, you're dying, people you know dying, things are coming at you. I used to have dreams where things were chasing me and they would come at me. I remember being in this field and way at the distance, there was an ice cream truck. I don't know why. It was in the middle of the field, but whatever. And there were these three men, and luckily they were really far away, but they turned and looked at me and I could see that they saw me. And so they started charging at me. And in the dream, I'm trying to wake up. I'm like, wake up, wake up, wake up. Have you ever had those dreams where you're like, just wake up? And I couldn't wake up. Finally, I pulled myself out of it and I woke up and I was like, oh my God. And as I did that, the other person in the house came to me and said, what just happened? Because my light just blew up. And I was like, I was trapped in this dream. These monsters were coming at me and I couldn't get out, but I finally got out. And they were like, yeah, I figured something was happening because the light bulb just exploded. I was like, okay. So that can happen. You could end up having all kinds of things coming at you. I've seen ghosts. I've seen, pretty sure they were aliens. I have seen shadow beings, animals mostly. I saw a shadow dog one time and it looked so much like a dog. It looked like a Rottweiler and I knew it. I just couldn't hear it, but I could see it. It was like a 3D shadow. I have seen so many strange things because I had so much paranormal things happening. It wasn't until I learned how to use meditation, energy healing, energy protecting, and connecting to the spiritual side of the psychic ability that I learned how to stop this stuff. And there were a lot of times that I thought I was going crazy, that I was making it up. It was a lot. It was very difficult to deal with, but I was learning. And that's the thing. And because this stuff can be very overwhelming, it can really ruin your life and make life really, really difficult. A lot of highly psychic people, they shut down their abilities and they turn them off, which is not really a good idea. And the reason why is because you are a psychic being. And when you turn off that psychic ability, it's almost like you're kinking a hose that has nowhere to go. And it needs to go. So it builds up pressure and builds it up and builds it up and builds it up. And what can end up happening is if you don't let your psychic abilities flourish, you don't learn how to use them, you don't learn how to protect yourself, they can go a little haywire. And you can end up with poltergeist-like activity. You could attract more things to you. You could end up with all kinds of negative things happening to you, like bad luck and stuff like that, bad dreams, and just think, okay, I don't know why this is still happening, because you're creating this backed up energy that's not getting an outlet. At least while it was running rampant, it was getting an outlet, but it was also attracting everything to you. So why does that happen? So let's say you're psychic, you're dealing with all of this paranormal stuff. Why are all these things coming at you from every direction? So one, if you're not protecting yourself, you're basically just an open book. You also imagine your energy like all these little tentacles going out like spider webs, going all over the place. You're attached to the dark side. You're attached to ghosts. You're attached to haunted places. You're attached to people. It's like your energy is embedded in so many different aspects of life that you're sucking this stuff to you. That's one of the reasons why that happens. You have too many psychic tentacles going out. You've got to suck those tentacles back in. Those are yours. You use them when you need to, but you don't want to have them everywhere. And anybody who has not been psychically trained, your psychic tentacles are all over the map. You have psychic antennas just basically saying to every single thing in the spirit world, come to me. I am an open book. And that's what they're doing. They're coming to you. All the demons, all the aliens, all the ghosts, and all the elementals, and everything in between, including the humans and their problems and their stuff that's going on in them too. You're attracting it to you because you're like a beacon of light in the darkness. So think of it as being in a dark room. Okay? You got a whole bunch of people in a room that's completely pitch black. And then you walk in and you're like a nightlight. Well, every single person in that room is going to turn and look at you. And none of them want to be in the dark. So they're going to come to you because, well, they want your light. They want to get out of the dark. So you're basically attracting these things to you just by being you. So when you turn off your psychic ability, you're not really turning it off because you haven't learned how to protect yourself. You haven't learned how to use it. You're just kind of kinking the hose until it explodes. You don't want to do that. You need to learn control. You need to learn how to keep your psychic abilities intact and use them. You need to use them for your advantage. You also need to learn that not everybody has the same psychic abilities. There are people out there who can talk to ghosts like they're actual people. And not everyone can do that. I can't do that, but I see them in my head because I used to see them with my eyes and I didn't like it. So I said, you're going to go back into my head because I like it when you're there. I like the control I get when I get into a meditation and get into the spirit world, and then I talk to the ghost. I don't want them coming to me in my world. I'll go to them in their world because I have more control in that world. So you need to learn how, first off, you've got to learn how to protect yourself. Use the white light. How do you do it? Bring down a beam of white light into the top of your head, bring it all the way down to your feet, and expand it through your aura until it gets on the outside layer of your aura, so you're inside a protective white light bubble. This is crucial. Everyone should be doing this, no matter what. But if you are psychic, you should be doing this anyway. But if you're psychic and you don't know you're psychic and you're having a lot of paranormal problems, you 100% have got to do this. You've got to do this every single day. You are inside that bubble nonstop until you learn how to use your abilities. At least that will stop you from picking up more bad things and more people's energies and things like that. You need to learn how to protect your home. You need to learn how to control your energy. You need to learn how to heal your energy. Your chakras matter. They need to be cleansed. They need to be balanced. And they need to be healed so that you can operate at a healthier level. Your psychic abilities, think of it as energy vibrates, right? So energy has a frequency. Your psychic abilities are on a higher frequency, and if your body doesn't match that energy frequency, then those psychic abilities are going to be very difficult for you because they're vibrating at a much faster rate than you can handle, which is pulling in all of these dark things. The other thing to know when it comes to psychic abilities is, first off, there's layers and levels to these psychic abilities. Some people are very good at reading people. You know, they get impressions or emotions. Some people can talk to the dead like they're people. Some people can predict the future. Everybody has a different ability. Everyone has a different set of skills, but your set of skills, you need to learn how to use them in order to keep yourself not only safe, but to keep so that you're using them for what they should be used for. Like, for example, if you are to help the dead cross over, great, go do it. If you're trying to help people clear up their energy, go do it. Maybe you're like, listen, I just have my normal 9-to-5 job and I come home and I'm dealing with this stuff nonstop. What do? Protect yourself and learn how to use your abilities. Take some psychic development training. This school that I told you about, MediSoul Wellness, the one that I am building that's already out there with courses, teaches you how to do this stuff. Why do you think I'm building this school? Because I went through all of these psychic problems that you're probably going through. I went through them and I thought, wow, I really took the hard road, because every psychic does. They go down the hard road because you have to learn. And who's going to teach you? So you go to all these different classes, you read all these different books, you get all this different conflicting information, and you're like, well, which one am I supposed to do? You do the one that resonates with you the most. That's what you do. You learn. You learn how to control it so that your energy is not like tentacles all over the world. You learn how to protect yourself, because if you don't protect yourself, you're just going to be that light in the dark. You need to learn what your skills are. What is it you can do? How do you use them? So if you're like an automatic writer, okay, well, use it. Protect yourself. If you're really good at tarot cards, great. Still protect yourself. If you're seeing things, learn how to keep them in check so that these ghosts aren't coming up to you and attaching to you. You can have ghosts come up to you and say, I'm stuck, I need help, whatever they're trying to do, without entering your energy field. You need to learn how to be like, listen, man, I'll help you, but you are not attaching yourself to me. I'm going to help you, but you stay right where you are. You've got to learn how to use your abilities. There are so many psychic abilities out there. For me to sit here and tell you how to learn how to use all of them, we'd be here for hours. You have to study what you're good at. Maybe you're thinking, well, I don't know what I'm good at. How am I supposed to study something I don't know what I'm good at? Start with the basics. Protection, meditation, energy healing. Those are the basics. Meditation is going to teach you how to use basically visualization to control your energy. to connect to the spirit world in an astral projection way. But you've got to stay protected. You need to protect yourself, protect your home, protect everything. This is what I teach. I have a spiritual protection course for this reason, because I had bad things coming to me all the time, and it was sucky. I'm sorry, but it was really crappy. And it was annoying. And there were many times in my life when I would go to different tarot readers or different psychic development classes and would just sit there going, I can't do this anymore. I can't deal with this crap anymore, because it was nonstop. It was coming at me from every single direction. And I had to learn. And now I don't have these problems. Now I could probably go into some of the most haunted places in the world and be okay. I'm not saying it would be perfect. Part of me wants to go to some of these heavy, heavy haunted places like Gettysburg. But at the same time, I'm fully aware of what's in Gettysburg. And there's a lot of things going on there. Plus, not only are you dealing with ghosts, you're dealing with the Appalachian Mountains, which has its own problems. And there's a lot of stuff out in this world. There's a lot of good things and there's a lot of bad things. You can be psychic. Don't shut it down. That's not the solution. It's just going to make a bad situation worse. You're going to think you have mental issues if you're just psychic. If you have legit mental issues, again, go talk to somebody. But if you are psychic, it's going to make you think, I have these issues. And that's what it is. When you're literally like plugging a hole that's going to explode eventually. So turning them off, not really a solution. You could turn them off temporarily, yes, and be like, you know what? Let me straighten this stuff out and learn and kind of turn them on gradually. But some people out there don't have that. You don't have that luxury. You are what you are. You are who you are. Turning them off might not be a solution. Protect yourself, learn meditation. And I don't mean sit there and breathe in and breathe out. I mean learn how to do visualization, astral projection, remote viewing type of meditation. Because you need to start talking to your spirit guides. You need to start connecting to the divine energy. You need to start connecting to the divine beings. And you need their help. You're going to need their help. And while you're learning to do that, ask them for help. If you want to call on the archangels, go for it. You want to call on your spirit guides, go for it. Call on whoever you want. Just make sure that you're saying, I am asking for Archangel Michael or my spirit guides to help me. Don't just say I'm asking for somebody to help me, because you're going to get the bad with that. Be very specific and say, I'm asking for the divine. I'm asking for angels. I'm asking for my spirit guides. That's what you need to do, is start learning how to connect to them. Once you start talking to them, your spirit guides hear you. They know who you are. Psychic or not, they know who you are. They hear you. Talk to them. Ask for help. Don't be demanding. I understand we get a little frustrated. Even I have yelled at my spirit guides. But you need to start talking to them and asking, can you please help me? Can you please protect me? Can you help me control my vision for my clairvoyance? Can you help control my clairaudience? Can you help control this? Can you help me learn how to use this? Where do I need to go? What do I need to do? How do I protect myself? Send me the right people. Send me the right information. I'm telling you what to ask them. You want to make sure you ask for help, send it to me. Help me hear you. Help me connect with you. Help me protect myself. Even if you don't know how to protect yourself, ask your spirit guides, please protect me. I need you to put a white light around me. I need you to put white light around my home. I need you to get these ghosts out of my house. Help them cross over. If you've got demons, get these demons out of my life. Remove them from me. I'm giving you permission, please. They will work for you while you are trying to straighten out your psychic abilities and learn. Get them to help you. You are not helpless. I spent many years going to so many different professionals, psychics and tarot readers and shamans and all of these people going, what is wrong with me? And it was just I had to learn how to do this stuff. And it sucked. It was a rough, bumpy road. And that's the part of being psychic. That's the dark side of being psychic. Everybody sees the people on YouTube and different psychics come out and they read people and the people cry and everybody's happy and they talk to somebody's past loved one and the other people cry. Nobody ever is like, wow, you've got this horrific demonic monster hanging around you and it's making your life suck. You don't really see that. And it's a huge part of it because the bad is out there just as much as the good. And because you're psychic and they know who and what you are, they're going to come to you more than somebody who doesn't see them. So you need to understand, own your power. You have a soul. Your soul has a name. Your soul comes from a location, a soul home. You have a power. You have a strength. You are not helpless. The paranormal does not need to control your life. You control your life. You just have to learn how. Start with meditation, protecting yourself, and energy healing. Read, study, watch all you can to learn about all the different types of things, the meditation styles, the different energy healing techniques, and the different ways to protect yourself. This will give you a starting point so that you can go and study how to be a psychic. Because you're not just born with the ability to know what to do. You might be born with the ability to be super open on a psychic level, but that doesn't mean you know how to handle it. So unless you got people in your life training you, and most people don't, you've got to figure this out. Ignoring it is not a solution. Medicating it is not a solution. Self-medicating it is not a solution. Closing it and turning it off is not a solution. These are temporary fixes to a very real problem if you don't face it. I've met more people who run from their psychic abilities and they have some really strong gifts and they do everything they can to ignore it. And for some people, you need to do that temporarily. That's fine. But it's not a permanent solution. You have power. Own that power. Protect yourself. That is crucial. If anything that I said here today resonates with you, or if you're experiencing this, please check out my website, which is a school, MediSoulWellness.com. I am building this school with courses to teach you how to do this stuff because I went through this. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed or followed, please do so. It really does help me find people who really do need this help. And if you know somebody who's struggling with their paranormal, their psychic abilities, or anything like that, send them this episode. Thank you. My name is Holly. I'm the founder of MediSoul Wellness, and I'll see you in the next one.